74 cult members enslaved. Roch Theriault's transformation into a self-proclaimed prophet began in 1977 when he converted to Adventism, leveraging its principles to lure young followers into his offshoot cult. He preyed on their emotional vulnerabilities, gaining their trust and manipulating them into believing he was chosen by a higher power. Theriault's charisma and persuasive abilities allowed him to recruit numerous members, setting the stage for the Ant Hill Kids community and the atrocities that would soon follow. Life within the Ant Hill Kids community was highly regimented and controlled by Roch Theriault, who manipulated his followers through a combination of charm, emotional manipulation, and physical coercion. The daily routine was demanding, with members waking up early for prayers and chores, followed by a strict schedule of work and study. Theriault dictated every aspect of their lives, from what they wore to what they ate, and even controlled their relationships with each other. He encouraged a culture of informants, where members would report any disobedience or dissent to him, fostering an atmosphere of fear and suspicion. As the community became more isolated, Theriault's grip on his followers tightened, leading to a complete breakdown of their individual autonomy and free will. The events that ultimately led to the community's downfall were rooted in Theriault's increasingly erratic and violent behavior, which would eventually expose the dark truth behind the Ant Hill Kids cult. The consequences of this controlling environment were devastating, leaving deep scars on the members and their families. The dark side of the cult is where the true horror of Roch Theriault's actions comes to light. Behind the facade of a prophet, Theriault was a master manipulator who used physical and emotional abuse to control his followers. He would often subject cult members to brutal punishments, including beatings and mutilations, for perceived transgressions. The emotional toll was just as devastating, with members forced to undergo humiliating rituals and subjected to constant psychological manipulation. The consequences of Theriault's actions were tragic, with many cult members suffering from long-term physical and emotional trauma. Some were even forced to undergo crude medical procedures, including amateur surgeries, at the hands of Theriault himself. The families of cult members were also affected, often left to pick up the pieces of their loved ones' shattered lives. As the cult's grip on its members tightened, the outside world began to take notice, but it would be too late for some. The full extent of Theriault's brutality would eventually come to light, exposing the darkest aspects of the Ant Hill Kids cult. The Ant Hill Kids cult, led by the manipulative and brutal Roch Theriault, remains a chilling example of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and manipulation. Theriault's ability to exploit the emotional vulnerabilities of his followers, coupled with his charismatic charm, allowed him to maintain control over the isolated community. The tragic events that unfolded serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of cult recruitment and manipulation. As we reflect on this disturbing case, it is essential to recognize the warning signs of cult involvement, including isolation from friends and family, emotional manipulation, and a charismatic leader who demands absolute devotion. By educating ourselves on these warning signs, we can work towards preventing similar tragedies from occurring in the future. It is crucial that we stay vigilant and supportive of those who may be vulnerable to cult recruitment, and encourage open dialogue about the dangers of cults and their devastating impact on individuals and communities.